Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you. When judgment comes for you. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you. 'Cause it's gonna come for you.
Nigga, this for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo, but God's got him. And I'm gonna miss everybody out of rolling flows like I ain't looked at a while. Like I'm playing for dust and they play too deep for beachside. Little legs I got too deep. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand way. You can't go follow
God bless you, working on a plan to heaven.
Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome back to the CrosUp, your weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week we'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on March the 16th to Collision Saturday Slam on March the 21st. So just before I get into things, Collision is going to be split up into two nights this week. So obviously with it being Sunday when I'm recording this, I will not be able to cover the Sunday portion of Collision tonight. They do this every year during the NCAA tournament, the kind of the first weekend where there's a lot of games. Obviously, scheduling somewhat of an issue, but they call it Slam Dunk Saturday and Sunday. They do an hour Saturday, they do an hour Sunday. So I'll cover the Sunday portion next week. It'll kind of muddle up things a little bit, but we'll get into it when we get there. So I just wanted to get that little production note out there a little bit, but I'll cover the Saturday portion, but the Sunday portion will have to be covered next week because of timing and all that kind of stuff. So, but we're going to go to Raw first. We open with the masked men that are kind of helping Seth Rollins out right now with kind of the diversion tactics of not knowing who the masked man is or which one is Seth Rollins per se. Seth Rollins gets right to the point. He grabs a mic. He created the vision, and he will be the one to destroy it. He doesn't care which member you are, but if you stand next to Paul Heyman, you are marked for death. Rollins is the one who attacked Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman comes out looking disheveled, looking like he's beat up. He has bruises on his eyes. His eyes are bloodshot. He looks like absolute hell. Rollins is ready to destroy Heyman, who says he wouldn't miss this for the world. Heyman says that. He says Heyman says everyone knows that the rule is FAFO, which is obviously fuck around, find out. But he says FAFO, FAFO, and then he does it one more time, says FA, and then goes F5. So Brock Lesnar comes out full of piss and vinegar. Obviously, Rollins' goons kind of surround him to protect him and his injured shoulder. Lesnar then takes off his hat and absolutely wrecks a bunch of the men around the ring. He even just picks up and throws one on the steps. It was a pretty funny spot. There was a couple of brutal belly to bellies. There was one into the barricade on one guy and it looked like he landed on his head. So hope that guy's okay. But he kind of gets Rollins alone. Then the lights go out and Oba Femi's music hits. Lesnar isn't sure what's going on. He's not sure if Femi's here for him or Rollins. Femi goes eye to eye with Lesnar. Lesnar kind of gets distracted by Seth Rollins still being there. And then Femi hits the fall from grace powerbomb, plants Lesnar. Cole freaks out, says, holy shit, when it happens. And then Oba Femi steps on Lesnar's chest as he's downed, and he points at the WrestleMania sign. So Brock, a few weeks ago, put out an open challenge, and Oba Femi is going to be the one to answer it. So I think this was a pretty good diversion tactic. It seemed like maybe we were going to head towards a Rollins Lesnar match, since obviously Braun Breaker is still hurt. I think I've heard reports that he's probably going to be back, is just why we kind of go this direction on this night. I also don't think Brock Lesnar or Rollins, that should be his first opponent back from a shoulder injury, because I think it could get exacerbated, obviously. But Femi Lesnar is an awesome matchup. You kind of hope that Oba gets the win and Lesnar kind of puts him over, but Lesnar's always kind of a basket case in that kind of situation. So we'll see if he does the right thing for the business, or if I don't think it needs to be a squash or anything like that, but Femi, I think, should win in the end. So, but we'll see how that goes. We then look back at last week's showdown between CM Punk and the Usos, who are not happy with how Punk has been talking about their family and Roman Reigns. We then look at El Grande Americano, the 2.0 version. He won the AAA Rey de Reyes tournament over the past weekend. We then get the two Grande Americanos going one-on-one, and 2.0 defeats the OG version via pinfall when he hits a dive with the loaded mask. So the loaded mask gimmick continues to work, and 2.0 gets the win over the OG. We then get Roman Reigns. He arrives casually late, as always. He runs into the Usos as soon as he gets there. Reigns says there are consequences for what you say, and he grabs the camera saying his fans should be offended by what Punk said. Over WrestleMania weekend, Punk belongs to him, and he'll catch up with the Usos later on. We then look back at Judgment Day turning on Finn Balor last week. We go to the clubhouse, and Liv Morgan says this has been her plan since she joined Judgment Day. She only put up with Balor for his relationship with Dominic Mysterio, and it has been a pleasure watching Balor fall from grace. It made her sick to call him family every week, so they took something out of his playbook. The team is on to bigger and better things, like her beating Stephanie McCare for the women's world title at WrestleMania. We then look back again at the AAA show from the past weekend, where Dominic Mysterio retained his mega title against Vikingo, and he is not medically cleared tonight for action because of something that happened within that match. So Dom's still kind of struggling with some injuries. It's kind of plagued him over the last 4 or 5 months. So we'll see if Dom is going to be primed and ready for WrestleMania with Finn going forward. We then go to the Usos again. They again talk to Roman Reigns about how to deal with CM Punk. He's heard the part-time thing all the time, and he doesn't care about it because it's about his wife and children. Reigns says he will get an apology later tonight from CM Punk for what he said about his family. We then go to a women's intercontinental title match. AJ Lee defeats Bayley via submission with the Black Widow. We then go back to JD McDonough. He isn't happy that Dominic Mysterio isn't getting his intercontinental title shot against Penta, but Dom is not cleared, obviously. Penta comes up and thanks Adam Pearce, who argues with JD McDonough some more. So maybe we'll get a JD Penta match, which would be something that I would very much look forward to because both of those guys are awesome in ring. So, but obviously Penta is going to have to deal with the Judgment Day for a little longer because obviously Dom's going to come back for his IC title. We then come back from commercial, and we see that Becky Lynch is attacking AJ Lee as she's coming back from her match. Referees try to break things up, but Becky Lynch drops AJ with a belt shot to the head. We then go back to SmackDown the previous week. We look at Randy Orton turning on Cody Rhodes and leaving him laying and bloody on SmackDown. We then have Penta come out. He cuts a promo about wanting to be a fighting champion and kind of that he's proud to be the Intercontinental Champion, and he wants everyone to have an opportunity at his title. This is kind of serves as an open challenge. Dragon Lee comes out, and him and Penta have a pretty banger match. Penta does win via pinfall with the Mexican Destroyer, and after the match, they shake hands and raise each other's hands and show some respect. So that's good. We then go to the Vision. They tell Paul Heyman that they're coming for Seth Rollins, but an anxious Heyman says that's a bad idea. They need power to do what they want, and that means they need to get some gold. And that means getting the tag team titles and to go after the Usos. He says, go do something to get the Usos' attention. Austin Theory is off to do just that, with Logan Paul saying, if you want the tag team titles, consider it done. So that's obviously kind of their direction going forward. We then have a match between Natty and Maxine Dupree. Natty wins via submission with the sharpshooter. And after the match, Natty grabs the mic and kind of just cuts a promo and says the dungeon is alive. So I don't really know what that means, but obviously maybe this will finally end this feud and Natty will be back off TV for a while. But we'll see. We then get Randy Orton. He's on the phone with someone about what he did Friday, saying he'll see you soon. Orton stops for an interview with Michael Cole, but he's changed his mind and doesn't want to do it. He will say this, though. He had a conversation with someone who has a brain, and they made him understand who and what he really is. The reality is Orton is a killer, and wrestling does have more than one royal family. We then get Javon Evans. He comes up to Dragon Lee, who is banged up after his match. Obviously, Kofi Kingston pops in to tell Evans to hang around with the right people if he wants to be successful. Kingston insults Dragon Lee, though, and this kind of causes Javon to give him a no to his offer to kind of join up with the New Day. Grayson Waller comes in and says he doesn't know what they see in Javon, because that's how people felt about Waller and when they kind of started associating with him. Danhausen then comes in to say that he should join the New Day because they can then have curse cereal. So he kind of just does the New Day dance, the New Day rocks, and all that kind of stuff. But he ends up getting a no. So he says that the New Day and Grayson Waller are cursed, with Kingston and Waller not knowing who got the curse in that situation. We then get Stephanie Vaquer defeating Raquel Rodriguez via pinfall when she reverses a Tejana Bomb attempt into a roll-up. We then get Lyra Valkyria tries to talk to Bayley about her WrestleMania prospects, but Bayley cuts her off. The idea is for them to do it together and maybe go after the tag team titles. But the Kabuki Warriors come in with Asuka blaming them for her recent loss, and they kind of tease having a match somewhere in the near future. We look back at Obafemi attacking Brock Lesnar from earlier in the night, and their WrestleMania match is officially set. We then go to the Usos. They run into LA Knight, who wants to take out the Vision as well. As for Roman Reigns, it's family business, and Knight needs to mind his own. LA Knight respects the idea, but he doesn't want to be involved with them if the bloodline is coming back, because obviously he had problems with them the first go around. We then have Roman Reigns cut out for our main event promo. He obviously gets the crowd to acknowledge him. And he says the fans know who closes this show. The thing is that Phil gets a little confused because this is Monday and this is Reigns' show, so come out here now. Punk comes out, takes a sweet time, circling the ring, high-fiving everybody. And then we have, and he welcomes Reigns to his show. Punk then says Reigns keeps calling him Phil when it's supposed to be an insult. That's a friends and family kind of thing. And he should call Reigns Titi Taki or whatever his real name is. Kind of offensive, but that's just kind of what thing. Punk then says he's certainly not going to call him Joe because that's insulting to a real Samoan named Joe that he loves very much. Obviously, talking about Samoa Joe. Reigns hasn't sent any Samoans after Punk, but he has told them to do whatever they need to do that they feel in that situation. Punk shows the proof that this is his show by asking how good it feels to be alive in San Antonio on a Monday night. Punk knows he has already won because he is in Reigns' head, though the fans chanting for Roman cut him off for a little bit. Reigns says the fans are calling Punk out, with Punk saying that he called Reigns out last week because he wasn't here. Reigns said that he's heard the part-timer thing for years, and if Punk wants to know what top stars do, go ask his wife, who's obviously on a part-time schedule as well. Reigns then starts to leave, but Punk cuts him off, says Punk decides when he leaves on this show. Punk promises him a GTS at WrestleMania, so Reigns says he didn't want to go here. Everyone knows Punk is great on the mic, but he can't phase Reigns, who is the most successful star Punk has ever faced. At the end of the day, the truth is Punk isn't stronger, faster, or anything than Reigns. He isn't even as good looking as him either. He tells Punk that he has to try so hard because he is old. And for some reason, this is what set Punk's off. He hits him with a right hand, so agents and security come out to split them up. Reigns laughs that he got under Reigns' skin. Punk is kind of escorted away from the ring, and Reigns looks into the camera and talks about making Punk snap with one word. Obviously, hitting the old mark there. So, but yeah, another solid way to end the show. I would say this is probably one of their lesser segments, but they have been pretty strong. throughout the run up to WrestleMania so far. So, but as far as best match for Raw, I would go with Penta and Dragon Lee. As I talked about it, it was pretty good banger. Kind of a rare, good, really good match on Raw. We don't particularly get too many of those. It's more of kind of really good segments more than it is matches usually. So there was that. So I thought that one was really good. So check that one out. We'll go to NXT. We open with our NXT Women's Championship triple threat match. Jacy Jane retains, defeating Sol Ruca and Zarya. Zarya F5'd Sol on the floor and throws her back in. She gets distracted by the other two members of Fatal Influence, and this is long enough for Jacy to kind of just crawl over, lay on top of Sol, and get the 1, 2, 3. We then go to the back. Kendall Gray fires up Bryn Sinclair for her speed title match tonight. Birthright comes in. Sinclair asks Charlie Dempsey what happened and why he did what he did, but gets blown off, and they kind of walk away. Lola Bison comes in to praise them both and says she's winning the women's title at Stand and Deliver. So they haven't really made a clear direction on. I mean, obviously we still have Sol and Zarya kind of going for Jacy, but unfortunately, I have a feeling we might be going towards a kind of multi-woman ladder match, kind of the crutch of the women's division over the last few years in NXT for the Stand and Deliver show. But we obviously see a lot of girls kind of claiming their stake to be the next challenger. So we'll see where that kind of goes. We then have Ricky Saints. He comes out to cut a promo. He actually slips a little bit on the rope during his entrance. He's doing kind of his poses and stuff and almost busts his ass falling on the ropes. Booker T does not let him get away with it either. Saints actually acknowledges as well. He says he slipped, but he didn't fall. Last week, he and Ethan Page got a win over Miles Bourne and Joe Hendry. They're a great team, and luckily for the tag division, they're focused on singles gold instead of the tag team titles. Page is going to be a 2-time North American champion, and Saints is going to do the same with the NXT title. Ethan Page comes out, says he sees things a little bit differently. Joe Hendry then comes out to interrupt as well. Ethan kind of implies that he's going to be a 2-time champ, but maybe not the North American title. Joe Hendry agrees that Ethan Page pinned him, which Ricky couldn't do, even if it involves smashing Hendry's head and face into the title. Maybe Page and Saints should fight again like they did at Stand and Deliver last year to decide who should face him this year. They start to kind of maybe go into a bit of a brawl. But, I mean, they seem to almost kind of go at each other, but then they go after Hendry. Hendry then cleans house, and then Tony D'Angelo comes in and wrecks all three of them and stands tall. We then get William Regal and Fit Finlay. They tell the Birthright to win the tag team titles when Robert Stone comes in. William Regal, being a former GM, tells Robert Stone that he should be the permanent GM. Thinks he's doing a great job. And he said he'll talk to Shawn Michaels about making that official. We then get the Americanos defeating the Vanity Project when Grande 2.0 hits a running headbutt with the loaded mask on Ricky Smokes to get the pinfall victory. We then get news that Sean Legacy is injured, so Elio LaFleur will take his place in the tag team tournament. He's going to be teaming with Eli Knight, so kind of two high flyers kind of getting randomly put together there. And they've obviously been in the speed title kind of picture lately. Robert Stone says it's fine with him. Sol Ruca then comes in and says she wants to face Zarya next week and finally put this thing to bed. And Robert Stone approves but looks worried about what they may do to each other in said match. We then get Vic Joseph and some others in the ring with Booker T for Booker T Appreciation Night. He gives them a nice introduction. Booker gets up from the desk to his entrance music and greets his family and some of his students that are ringside from his academy. We get a video of Booker's career with various legends, current stars, and even Vic Joseph talking about how great he has been to them over the years and how great of a legacy he has left behind. Back in the arena, Booker's kind of in tears. The people in the ring, he says, are his students, and obviously he has family in there as well. Vic then presents Booker with a plaque, and Booker talks about how he's been doing this for 35 years. But Keanu Carter comes out to interrupt. He doesn't want Booker T to have a celebration. and goes and beats up his students. Jasper Troy then comes in to make the save to go after Carver and knock him out of the ring. With Carver gone, the locker room comes out and applauds Booker, who says someone needs to take control of the show because this type of thing that Keanu Carver just did shouldn't be happening in his city. We then go to our women's speed title match. We get a new champion when Ren Sinclair makes Fallon Henley tap to the final wrench, and she is our new women's speed champion. We then go to Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. They complain about the attack, but Robert Stone isn't overly impressed with either of them. Ethan then suggests that Tony D'Angelo face Ricky next week, and Robert Stone makes the match official, and he likes that idea. We then have Birthright of Stax and Uriah Connors. They defeat Hank and Tank when Hank and Tank gets distracted by the rest of the Birthright group, and Connors was able to get a blind tag and roll up Hank for the surprise win. This advances Birthright in the tag team title tournament, so I assume this will kind of be the team going forward through the tournament, but obviously with 4 members, they can probably mix and match as they so please, but we'll see how it kind of goes. We then have Joe Hendry. He wants Tony D'Angelo next week, but Robert Stone says he is already in a match next week. So Hendry basically just says he wants a match at some point. And then we kind of cut over to OTM brawling with Dark State. And obviously Dark State uses the numbers game and kind of ends up standing tall at the end of all of it. We then get Thea Hale. She gives Tatum Paxley a pep talk ahead of her cage match. Paxley leaves. Kalani Jordan comes in to mock Thea, with Jada coming to kind of stand up for Thea to end the segment. We then get JC Jane. She's rather excited with her title retention, but Fallon Henley isn't overly pleased with having to help Jane take care of Kendall Gray going forward because obviously Fallon lost her championship earlier in the night. We then have Miles Bourne approaching Robert Stone. He wants a new number 1 contender, so Robert Stone makes a gauntlet match to find one next week. He isn't sure who is involved, but obviously Birthright comes in and stakes their claim to a spot or two within the match. So you got to imagine either Lexus or Charlie or both might be in the match, and one of them will likely probably win because they seem to want to try to build them up a little bit. I don't see them maybe beating Miles, but obviously they could be a thorn in his side going forward. And then we get our main event cage match where Tatum Paxley retains the women's North American title over Izzy Dame. She wins via pinfall following the Cemetery Drive. We then get a post-match celebration from Paxley. She goes up to the ramp. A trap door randomly opens. Blake Monroe pulls her down, and then she kind of reemerges through the door, holding the title up to end the show. So obviously it seems like the thing with Izzy and Tatum is over. And we're moving on to Blake Monroe taking on Tatum, which I think could be a solid feud. It can produce a pretty solid match at Stand and Deliver. So we'll see how that goes. But the cage match was the best match of the show. Obviously, this set up a lot of stuff kind of heading into Stand and Deliver. We had the big segment with obviously the NXT title feud kind of heating up and the Booker T appreciation segment. So I do like that they continue to kind of use Keanu Carver as a thorn in Booker T's side. So we'll see if he continues to kind of get that rub going forward. But Tatum and Izzy would be the match I would check out. We then go to Dynamite. We get a recap of Revolution. I actually never finished watching the show, so I'm still not going to have the best match of the night or anything like that. I will eventually catch up on that, but I just didn't have time this week. It was a rough one. So. But we get the Revolution recap. We go straight into a match, and I was wrong about Will Ospreay. He does have a match. He does open this and defeat Blake Christian via pinfall following the hidden blade. After the match, Ospreay calls out Jon Moxley and threatens to snap his neck with his bare hands. Moxley comes through the crowd, so Ospreay kind of charges after him, and they kind of brawl a little bit. Pac then comes to save Moxley and ends up locking Ospreay into the Brutalizer. We then go to the Bang Bang Gang. They come out for their match, but we also have Ospreay kind of dive out onto Moxley again from a random perch. We then have Mox come into the ring for a match. Him and Wheeler Yuta defeat the Bang Bang Gang of Ace, Austin, and Juice Robinson when Mox hits the paradigm shift on Ace. We then go to Gabe Kidd. He isn't scared of Darby Allin. Kidd wants Allin to meet him in the parking lot before they have their coffin match. We then go to Kenny Omega. He wants to face Swerve Strickland one more time. If Strickland is so confident that he can beat him, he wants him to put up his number one contendership. That I don't think they announced that Brody King versus Swerve was a number one contenders match, but apparently he obtained the number one contendership through winning that match. We then go to Gabe Kidd. He's in the parking lot where Darby Allin tries to run him over with his car. The brawl is on with Allin getting the better of things, and he throws Gabe Kidd into his trunk. We then get Darby Allin getting into the car. He drives towards a pile of trash, which makes the car flip over as he's kind of speeding over it. Darby breaks out of the window to get out of the car, and then he pops the trunk. So Gabe Kidd obviously falls out in a heap. There's then a nearby anvil case. He throws Gabe Kidd on top of it, and Allin kind of pushes him out to the arena for their casket match. So they have a full-on beatdown and a car crash literally before the match even starts. Darby then wins the casket match. He hits 2 coffin drops, and then he does a suicide dive to knock him into the coffin and slam the door. And after the match, Darby says he's done with Gabe, obviously, and he wants the world title. We then go to video of Jack Perry leaving his new house with the Jurassic Express, obviously the new bus that he's riding to the shows in. It's driven by Luchasaurus, of course. And then once in the arena, he runs into the Young Bucks, who are ready for their 6-man tag tonight. We then get Prince Nana. He introduces Swerve Strickland, who sits in a chair. Strickland talks about power, which he didn't get even after winning at Revolution. The reality is that the power can be more important than titles. He spent most of his life fighting against people with power, and that brings him to Kenny Omega. There's no reason for him to face Omega again, except for one thing. Omega has power. So if he wants to face Strickland again, Omega needs to put up his EVP title, with Strickland getting it if he wins. So obviously the number one contendership is up for Swerve, and Omega will have to put up his EVP title, which I think he will very willingly do. We then get Mike Bailey. He talks about the work that he has had to put in to get where he is today, and he's willing to keep doing it to get higher and up higher in the ranks of the business. We then have Mike Bailey defeat Mark Davis via pinfall following the Ultimate Weapon. We then go to After Revolution. MJF has dubbed himself Mr. Revolution, as he seemingly had one of the best matches every year at that pay-per-view, even though he felt every bit of pain that he felt throughout his match. It was all worth it, though, and he won it the day that he turned 30. It was on his birthday. He has 20 years to go, and Hangman Page will be staying in the mid-card where he belongs going forward. Now that is out of the way, he's going to Disney World and gives a bloody smooch to the camera before he walks away. We then get Okada. He laughs off the idea that the Young Bucks were ever his family, because he is the Don Callis family, and that is all that matters. It only matters to everyone except Konosuke Takeshita, who doesn't seem to care about family anymore. We then have Mina Shirakawa defeat Marina Shafir via pinfall following a champagne bottle shot to the head and a Storm Zero. This was kind of a no DQ match. This was Mina getting back at Marina, seemingly for taking out Tony Storm. Tony Storm was left in a bloody heap earlier in the day, and she's going to be out for an extended period of time. I think I've heard as long as possibly the rest of the year. So I think she's obviously been going hard for a few years. I think she has some injuries that are kind of starting to mount up. And I think she just needs some time off to kind of rest up and get her body right. We then go to Andrade. He wants the world title, but is given a briefcase of money from MJF instead. Don Callis calls in to say the deal is to get rid of Darby Allin. And Andrade seems to, he seems to want to do what Don Callis wants him to do, but doesn't seem so convinced that they should be working with MJF. We then get Jack Perry and the Young Bucks. They beat the Don Callis family, represented by Okada and Roppongi Vice of Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. The Bucks hit the BTE trigger on Romero, and then Jack follows it with his running knee finisher. After the match, the Bucks said they blew it at Revolution and have to admit that FTR was the better team. The Bucks' dad told them to remember who they are and work their way back to the top. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage then come out, with Copeland saying that they shouldn't hang their heads after the match as great as they had at Revolution. Cope then says he knows what it's like to hate FTR, which is why he and Cage are challenging for the titles in Canada at Dynasty. Cage says if they win, they get a bunch of money and prove their greatness. FTR and Stokely then come out, with FTR coming straight to the ring and obviously get beaten up by the four guys that hate them. The Bucks hold the titles, but then hand them to Cage and Cope, who pose with them to end the show. So I think the Bucks are kind of trying to stand to the side and let Cope and Cage get their shot. But obviously, I think they're coming for him on the other side. Speedball cut a promo about how he's been tearing it up on the indies for years, building his brand, building himself up throughout the years. And he cut that promo, and I thought it was really good on his part. And then he had a banger match with Mark Davis, and that would be match of the night for me. So definitely check that one out. We then go to Impact. We have an opening recap. It focuses on the Steve Maclin versus Mike Santana rivalry that we've had so far. We then get an opening match where the hometown man scores an upset victory over Frankie Kazarian when a distraction attempt by AJ Francis kind of goes awry, and the hometown man gets him with a small package. After the match, Francis goes after the hometown man, but Elijah runs in with a guitar shot for the save. We then get the Angel Warriors of Xia Brookside and Lei Ying Lee. They are ready to beat Danny Luna, who has to cheat more often than not to win. And Ariana Grace, they want to take her out too, who stole her title. We then get Daria Ray. She comes in to see Santino Marella and talk about the Knockouts title picture. Marella suggests a triple threat for the title, with Ariana Grace defending against both Lei Ying Lee and Danny Luna. Daria Ray seems to agree, but she also leaves kind of annoyed at the same time. We then get Mr. Elegance. He defeats Action Mike Jackson via pinfall, following a fireman's carry slam. After the match, the Elegance brand load up some cups with some kind of concoction, but ODB comes out and makes the save, and then ODB and Action Mike Jackson pour the cup of the sludge onto the Elegance brand. So it ended up being a pretty funny. I think it actually ends up just being Mr. Elegance that kind of takes the concoction on the head. So, but we then go to the system. They are ready to come for all the titles, and Brian Myers is ready to take Moose out later tonight. We then get Danny Luna and Ariana Grace. They defeat the Angel Warriors when Danny catches Xia Brookside and hits the lunar landing. We then get Leon Slater coming out to cut a promo. He says 2 weeks ago, Eric Young gave him a pile driver, and for the first time, Slater doubted if he was going to be able to get up, but that big bald bitch didn't do enough because Slater is going to be ready for him at Sacrifice. We then go to, we look back at Moose defeating Cedric Alexander last week in the street fight. We then have Alicia Edwards and Moose come out, and the rest of the system is here with Myers. Santino then comes out and throws the rest of the system out for the match just in case. Santino Marella says, ring the bell, and Moose hits the spear and wins in 12 seconds. So it wasn't much of a match. We then have Rosemary meet up with Allie, who hates the regular clothes she's wearing. Rosemary gives her something different, and they go to see Raven, of all people. He mocks Tommy Dreamer during the segment. Raven gives Rosemary some of Dreamer's blood from 1995, he says, and it is chock full of cholesterol and obesity. So just a way to kind of have Raven say some crazy stuff about Dreamer, obviously still being in wrestling, and obviously continuing this craziness with Rosemary. So we'll see where that continues to go. The system then try to calm Brian Myers down and remind him that they still have a tag team title shot. Bear Bronson then says he's going to be the next one to go after Moose, and he is going to hurt him. We then get Elena Black. She defeats Jada Stone via pinfall following the blackout. After the match, Mar Sade and Elena Black have to be separated. Order 4 then come out to surround Jada Stone, but Trey Miguel comes out and saves her from a further attack. We then get Tessa Blanchard and her crew. They laugh at the Knockouts title picture, but Jody Threat, Harley Hudson, and Myla Grace come in. Threat doesn't think much of Blanchard and her cheap glasses, so a match seems to be set between the two for next week. We then get the Nemeths. They defeat the Righteous when Ryan hits the downward spiral on Vincent for the win. And then we get our main event segment where Mike Santana and Steve Maclin kind of meet in a room, have a face-to-face. They stare at each other until Santana talks about how much Maclin was the person who believed in him when he returned to TNA. Maclin was the one guy who would have his back, but then Macklin's pride and ego, and Maclin obviously cuts him off there. Maclin says Santana is the one with the ego. He tells a story about volunteering to sweep for mines in Afghanistan. Some drinks are set up before them with Maclin having his, but Santana talks about fighting a war within himself. With obviously his, alcohol problems in the past. He's made his past a superpower, while Maclin has made his past his excuse. Everything Maclin has done better be worth it at sacrifice because they'll be ready to fight. When Santana wins, everything Maclin has done is for nothing, and Santana even pays for the drinks and says Maclin is welcome for his job back. Pretty awesome ending segment between the two guys. Whether you like them or not, I think they're two pretty good promos and kind of excel in a segment like this. So I think that's just kind of stuff that that works for both of those guys. So Nemeths and Righteous would be my match of the night because honestly, there wasn't much wrestling in this one. There was a few matches, obviously, but nothing that really got a ton of time. We then go to SmackDown. We open with a look back at Orton attacking Rhodes from last week that we've seen a couple of times already. Various people arrive, but referees and Nick Aldis run into the parking lot where Drew McIntyre pulls Jacob Fatu out of his car. And it had already been in a wreck, and it looked like it had been T-boned by another car. So obviously, McIntyre has already tried to kind of run Fatu down before the match even, or the show even starts. McIntyre hammers him with right hands, and Fatu is left bleeding before McIntyre goes to the arena and asks what you thought would happen. He wanted to go to the main event of WrestleMania, and you took it from him. Aldis and security come out with Aldis saying the only thing McIntyre is heading towards is unemployment because he's going to be fired if he keeps this up. McIntyre brings up Aldis' son, Donovan, and how horrible of a father Aldis is. Fatu then comes back out and starts to brawl again. Fatu gets the better of things this time and splashes McIntyre through the announce table to kind of end the segment. We then get a tag team title match. R-Truth and Damian Priest defeat the MFTs when Truth hits the AA on JC Mateo after some distraction from the Wyatt Six. And R-Truth and Damian Priest are your new WWE Tag Team Champions. The Bella Twins then are ready for the Irresistible Forces and the women's tag team title match later tonight. Charlotte and Alexa come in with their ice cream that they seem to regularly have for some reason over the last few months. They come in to kind of mock the Bellas for being selfish and jumping the lines and not earning their spot. And to kind of get back at them, Brie takes Alexa's spoon out of her ice cream. And Alexa seems pretty pissed about that. We then get Candice LeRae. She doesn't know how to fix Johnny Gargano. Danhausen then pops up. Danhausen thinks something is wrong, and Candice asks if he can possibly fix it. He asks if she has $20 million, so she reaches in Gargano's pockets and pulls out some cash. Danhausen takes it, kind of examines it a little bit, and then leaves before he even does anything. The Motor City Machine Guns then come up with Chris Sabin telling Alex Shelley to keep walking because they have a match, and this isn't something that should distract them right now. We then look back at the Cody Rhodes attack once again, and we kind of get the fans' reactions this time, kind of seeing the faces in the crowd. We then go to Sami Zayn. He can't stop thinking about Cody and what happened to him. Cody always tries and goes the extra mile. Now look what happened to him. Maybe that ends with Randy Orton winning the title, so maybe Zayn's worldview is wrong. Trick Williams then comes in to mock him, so Zayn is ready to fight him, but Williams says he has to look in his Palm Pilot and look at his schedule and eventually get back with him. So we'll see when they face each other down the line. We then get the Motor City Machine Guns. They defeat Fraxium. Candice LeRae actually comes ringside and delivers a cheap shot to Nathan Frazier, which allows Sabin to get a roll up and get the victory. I don't think Sabin quite realized that Candice was kind of the cause of this, but Alex Shelley did, and doesn't really know how to feel about it. Obviously, they got the win, but Sabin doesn't realize that they got it by nefarious means. We then look back at Roman Reigns and CM Punk, their interactions on Raw and kind of the promo segment that they had. We then get Randy Orton. He comes out, grabs the chair, sits in it, cuts a promo, talks about how much love he had received from fans since he came back from injury. Yeah, he signs autographs and tells kids happy birthday and all that, but it's such an empty feeling. He wants his legacy to be about world titles and not recognition from the fans. He was ready to get another one against Drew McIntyre. He knew he could beat him. Then Cody Rhodes took the title from McIntyre, and Orton wasn't so sure if he could win. Cody Rhodes helped him out, though, by telling him to be the best version of Randy that he could be, because he started listening to the voices again. He doesn't always stay in control when that happens, but this time they are telling him he is going to win the title at WrestleMania when he beats Cody with the RKO. We're going to get video of kind of the Bellas' return in the Royal Rumble and kind of, the promos and stuff that they've cut since they came back. We come back from commercial. Randy Orton is in the back. He runs into Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, obviously really good friends with Cody, is not happy with what happened last week and asks how he could do that to Cody Rhodes. Orton calls him a mark-ass stooge, and I think he even calls him an indie dork or like an indie loser or something like that. And then eventually nails him with a forearm and kind of knocks him to the floor before walking away. We then get Aleister Black. He defeats Sami Zayn via pinfall when Trick Williams provides a distraction, allowing Aleister to hit the Black Mass and win the match. We then go to Matt Cardona in the back. He wants Randy Orton tonight, but Nick Aldis answers him with a no. So I think Cardona's just going to try to get him any way he can. Carmelo Hayes then comes up to ask about the open challenge, but Nick Aldis says it's closed for the night, and he needs to get ready for his match later on. Ilya Dragunov comes up to say that he's the one that answered the challenge, and Carmelo seems okay with that idea. We then have the Irresistible Forces. They are not worried about losing the Bellas tonight. They're not worried about really any team in the tag team division, is what they say. So they know they're the Irresistible Forces, and they're ready to keep the titles. We then have Jade Cargill. She comes out to cut a promo. She wastes no time in calling out Rhea Ripley. Ripley comes out. Ripley doesn't want to talk to Cargill anymore and hopes she's out here for a fight. Jade says this is about what Ripley needs because Cargill doesn't need anything, including the recognition of these fans. Ripley says she needs this because she lives for this. She's been doing this since she was 16, and it's what matters the most to her. Jade says Ripley is just Io Sky's bitch, obviously meaning that she's never beaten Io Sky and that she's the lesser of the team. Saying that Ripley needs the title, says that the title needs her, so she'll be taking it. Welcome to the Big Leagues bench. She offers Cargill the first shot, but on my time. We then have Michin and B-Fab come out. Obviously, they've been feuding with Jade, but they seem to have teamed up with her at this point and are going to be her kind of lackeys. So they surround Rhea, and they all three beat her down. So if you can't beat them, join them, I guess. It's something to do with Michin and B-Fab. I think Michin at least is a solid talent. And this is a good way to kind of use her as kind of the flunkies for the champ. So, I hope Rhea can kind of bring Jade up to her level, but we'll see what happens with that WrestleMania match. That's one I'm kind of worried about, I'd say. We then go to Kit Wilson. He isn't sure what to think about what is going on. And Miz talks about having a horrible week. His family vacation was ruined because of bad weather in Hawaii, and he has a horrible sunburn on his back. Danhausen then comes and slaps both of them on the back. Miz still says he won't mentor Danhausen. He obviously continues to put a curse on him, or he says he's going to stay cursed or whatever. Then a ladder kind of falls down behind them, and Miz tells Kit to go out there and use the Miz method and do it on his own with Jelly Roll. and then another ladder falls when Kit walks away, and it falls on the Miz this time. So obviously continued curse towards the Miz. Solo Sikoa then yells at the MFTs and doesn't want to hear about the Wyatt Six. Tama Tonga says Sikoa is starting to sound like Roman Reigns, which pisses off Solo. But this is kind of broken up with Jacob and Drew McIntyre still fighting. And they kind of go up against one of the garage doors and kind of slam each other against that. McIntyre goes for the eyes and kind of escapes this time. When they get announced that Dennis Rodman is going into the WWE Hall of Fame as a celebrity this year, we then get our U.S. Open Challenge. Carmelo Hayes defeats Ilya Dragunov when he is able to reverse a powerbomb attempt into a code red for the win. We then have Jelly Roll. He comes up to the new tag team champs, Damian Priest and R-Truth, and praises them for their title victory. Roll then goes up to Randy, who apologizes to Jelly for last week. Jelly understands and hopes that Randy realizes what he means to the people out in that arena. Orton has worked so hard to get here and doesn't know why he would want to be the old version. Jelly Roll even offers to help him get back to the good version, and Orton seems interested and again apologizes for everything that happened last week. So we'll see if they kind of continue to roll with Jelly Roll. We then look back at Omafemi, kind of accepting the open challenge for Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania on Raw. We then have Kit Wilson come out. He calls out Jelly Roll. He wants to settle this like men, so Jelly Roll needs to get out here right now. Jelly Roll comes out with Wilson rolling straight to the floor and doesn't want to get into a fight. Roll wants the referee out here to have a match, but Kit says he fights with his words. Jelly doesn't seem to understand. He thinks Wilson brought him all the way up here for a rap battle, but Kit Wilson instead challenges to slam poetry. The lights go down a bit, and Kit Wilson pulls out his book. Jelly is shocked that he has a book. He says, "You got a book? You brought a book?" Kit Wilson then starts reading about Jelly Roll's criminal past, and Jelly Roll seems pretty flabbergasted by some of these jokes. Kit actually did some pretty good stuff here, so this ends up being a pretty good segment. He gets an Ozempic line in as well. But Jelly Roll comes back with various jokes about sleeping with Kit's mother. Wilson then jumps him from behind as Jelly Roll starts to leave and then hits a top rope elbow. So obviously I think this is leading towards some kind of tag match with Miz, Jelly Roll, and Kit. So we'll see who ends up being Jelly Roll's partner. We then get Julia. She isn't happy with Kiana James losing last week, but James doesn't want to hear it. Alba Fire rolls Chelsea Green in her wheelchair. So Green can offer to team up against Tiffany Stratton with them, but Julia says she doesn't need her help or anyone's help. We then get Jelly Roll. He wants Kit Wilson next week in a match, and Nick Aldis grants that. We then get the Irresistible Forces versus the Bellas. It ends in DQ when Alexa and Charlotte get revenge from last week and attack both teams. The Bellas then go after them after the match, but again, just like last week, the Irresistible Forces take both of them out and leave everyone laying. We then get Randy Orton. He's on the phone again with someone who says they need to watch him go back out there tonight and make things right. Randy Orton then comes out with his chair again, shakes hands with a kid on the way to the ring. He takes his time doing the full entrance and all that stuff. He has an apology to make to Matt Cardona, so if Matt Cardona would come out here, Cardona then comes out with Orton immediately apologizing. They hug. And of course, Randy Orton pulls away from the hug, low blows him, and then hits the RKO. Orton takes him outside, loads up the steps, but the agents kind of run out to make the save. Orton throws Cardona back inside and pounds on him with the chair before Pillmanizing his arm. The fans actually chant one more time, so poor Cardona is getting the Cody heat for all that happening. And Nick Aldis then comes out to yell at Randy Orton, but has to run to the back as we see Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre again brawling to the outside. They climb onto this tower. They battle on the outside of the railing that's kind of above the ground. They kind of battle, and then they both kind of fall at the same time. The agents and Aldis are kind of behind a fence. So we don't really see where they fall, but obviously they're supposed to have fallen to like the concrete ground. But obviously the show ends on this spot. So it's good to see Cardona kind of getting a bigger spot, I guess, but he does kind of seem to look like a fool in all of this. So I'm not sure it does much for him, but I like the through line of the night with McIntyre and Fatu constantly battling. So that was a good through line for the show. And then as far as best match on SmackDown, obviously, anytime Carmelo and Ilya get in the ring, it's going to be that, and it was once again. So, and then we're going to wrap up with Collision. Like I said, it's just a Saturday Collision. Obviously, I can't cover the Sunday portion just today. Fletcher and Kyle Fletcher defeats Robbie Eagles via pinfall following a brainbuster in the opener. John Moxley and Pac then are in the back. Moxley says the aerial assassin has some feelings on what Ospreay had to say the other night. He says Will wants to break Moxley's neck, but how is that going to go? It won't happen. We could talk about why you were put in timeout, but you wouldn't get it. Moxley hopes that he can keep himself out of trouble, but if you're determined to put yourself back in the hospital, I will do that for you. And John or Moxley kind of kicks it to Pac. He says, William, I wasn't even here when what happened to you happened to you. But I know that you are a prick, and if you want to have a go, I would appreciate the opportunity to get my grubby little fingers around your neck. We then get La Facción and Gobernables. Sorry, I screwed that one up. We get them squashing some jobbers, and Mortos finishes the match off with a tornado splash. We then get Lexi with Tekla in the back. Lexi brings up the attack of Tony Storm and kind of not knowing who did it. Tekla says she hopes that Tony recovers quickly. She says that it's a shame and starts laughing. Lexi wonders if Tekla did this, and she says she did. Tony said that she was coming for her title, so Tekla took her out. The title is hers. It looks like her. It sounds like her. It tastes like her, and it's not going anywhere. To anyone in the women's locker room who wants to face her, you better fake your own death, because reality is going to be far worse. We then get the Brawling Birds defeat the Sisters of Sin when they hit the 2 birds, 1 stone on Julia Hart. We then again go to Lexi. She's with Brody King this time. Brody says he knows that Kenny Omega kept him from getting seriously injured at Revolution, and for that, Brody owes him one. But after Omega wipes the floor with Swerve Strickland, him and Swerve are far from over. And then we get our main event where the Death Riders of Daniel Garcia and Claudio Castagnoli defeat Mascara Dorado and Commander when Claudio hits the neutralizer on Commander. So I thought that was the best match of the show. I didn't think the opener was particularly that bad either. I thought it was pretty good as well. But the kind of lucha style going up against the hard-hitting style of Garcia and Claudio meshed really well for a tag match. So I would go with that one. And again, like I said, next week I'll start out with the other part of Collision. And then follow that as well, obviously. So thank you for joining me as always, and we will see you next week.
Crowd is here, about